All right, let me straighten up my posture.
Oh man, you got your glasses on, man. Straighten up.
Today,
Dead in Hip Hop Conversations. This is a special one. What does Feefo say? We're gonna get into it, man. We have a very, very, very special guest with us today. He recently released a book that Dead in Hip Hop has a part in, but we're really excited for you guys to check out the book. This sounds so whack.
No, it's good, man. Hey, keep it going, man. You got this.
Yeah.
Give him some encouragement, guys.
James Acaster in the house, y'all. What's up, man?
Hello, that was very good, Myke. Don't talk yourself down. That was great.
So,
we have a pretty interesting conversation that we're going to bring to you guys today. Today we are discussing our favorite years in hip hop. Each one of us has a year in mind, and we're going to try to present why that is the best year in hip hop. This was actually a great idea that James had. So I know that he's got a whole bunch of ideas and facts, not opinions, facts to back up why he thinks this is gonna be the best year in hip hop. So we're gonna make him go first.
oh wow.
Yes.
Wait, you said you think he had some questions first.
What are your? First of all, James has some questions, and then we're gonna put him on the spot.
I mean, everything that I know about hip hop, I've learned from you guys anyway and watching your channel, so I'm dead in the water before we even start. Basically, so before we start, I think we need to know what constitutes something being the best year and what you guys think. Cause I've watched a lot of your videos. I watched a lot of your end of year videos and your best of lists. And a lot of the time you talk about, your number one. It's all the things that you listen to the most, and the things that you keep going back to. And it's all a lot of what's personal to you, rather than going, here's what has better production, here's what's most influential, and doing that. Best year for hip hop of all time. Are you going personal best year, or are you saying here's got the most classics, or here's what accumulatively, if you take all the albums from that year, it's the best, even if it's not even if they haven't got a load of classics or influential albums in there, across the board, the standard is the highest. How are you figuring it out?
And that's especially good to get clarity from us, because I know we normally go with personal over overall type of thing. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of approach we take with things, period. So yeah, I guess that is a really good question. How are we approaching this?
B.
Oh. I'm just going to my personal. I'm going my personal favorite year.
Just how many of your favorite albums came out in the same year that you're going by?
Yeah and no, I guess. I mean, I feel the reason why I picked this year is I feel it was a sort of a great transitional year for hip hop.
Oh, so it is kind of both.
Yeah,
it is kind of both. I feel that. Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah, mine is somewhat both too. With one of the years that I picked, the one that I'm going with, I think one of them may have it, because I think you're gonna have a lot of classic albums that drop, albums that I absolutely love, and then another year that I have kind of as a backup that I was looking at is one that kind of brought in a new era and kind of ushered in a new breed of artists that enter into the scene and kind of advance the culture, so to speak.
I picked for my year, because this took a lot of time, and I just finalized it yesterday morning, but the year that I picked was the year that I thought brought the most genre-defining albums. The year that had not necessarily the most classics, really, but the most albums that were really game changers. Because everyone's gonna assume that I'm just gonna pick whatever year that Company Flow came out. Nah, I looked at the year and said, okay, this year had so many albums that are absolutely undeniable that it's just easy to pick this year. That's how I went. So I guess mine's kind of like B's too. Mine is both. Yeah. So how did you do yours?
Well, I started to think because, as you know, the book I've written is me saying that 2016 is the greatest year for music of all time, just and me putting that across and why I think that, and a lot of that is personal and stuff. And I thought for this video, like, I'll sit down and think what, you know, the greatest year for hip hop for me is, and it's still the same answer, but it's the same answer because of a combination of stuff. But the main thing is how personal it is. So, you know, in 2017, I had like a really rough personal year and just obsessively bought music that came out in 2016. And loads of that was hip hop, and a lot of those are now my favorite albums just ever across any genre. And so even if I try and, like, you know, style it out and find another year that's more credible that makes me look better, I'd be lying, because like these are my favorite albums. Like these are still, like, you know, Atrocity Exhibition and Telephone and Run the Jewels Free, and they're all like my favorite albums ever, and I can't pretend that they're not. You know, there are other years where I looked back and was like, yeah, coincidentally there's like a lot of albums that came out that year that I still love, but there are loads of really underground albums because I delved really deep, and I own over 550 albums from 2016, and like a lot of those are hip hop. So like I got some really obscure ones that feel like my own special albums as well, that, like, you know, there's ones that, like, you know, Run the Jewels Free or Atrocity Exhibition, which is like everybody, you know, connected with these albums, and I feel connected to other people because of them, and that's really special for me. But then there's also other albums that, you know, like the Super Swank Project released Bad Time in that year, and Anarchist Republic of Buzz released United Dictators of Europe, and they're very obscure albums that are my special albums that I have that connection to. And so I've just got every connection that I could possibly have to music, the personal connection and the social connection, all in this one year. And I think I still can't move past it and say that any other year means that much to me. Only drawback of having a year that's that recent is that you can't necessarily prove how influential albums have been. So that's the one drawback, is that I can't say, and this influenced everything that went afterwards, which I think, I don't know, is that a key component of saying something's the best year, is saying how much influence it had? It feels like it should be.
I don't know, is it?
I think so. I think influence is important, and if people start, or artists that come after you, or even artists that are new, or artists that are currently in hip-hop, if they started making albums that's similar to a sound of one of the most influential years of hip-hop, then yeah, I think that speaks to why that year is so influential.
Yeah.
So okay, so here's my thing with that. I think that then becomes a discussion of best versus favorite. Because, you know, a lot of people will, and it might sound like semantics, but I actually don't think it is. I think when you say that something is your favorite album, it's completely different than arguing that this is the best album. Like, I can say that Company Flow is my favorite rap album of all time.
Right.
But if somebody says, well, the best rap album of all time is
Vanilla Ice.
I mean, Ice has some bars. I don't give a fuck. Vanilla Ice raps better than a lot of rappers today. I'm just putting it out there. I'm saying that if somebody said that the best rap album of all time is Jay-Z's, which one? What's the best?
Reasonable Doubt.
Reasonable Doubt. If someone says that's the best rap album of all time, I think that that's a completely different discussion. Because I might not even say that Company Flow is the best rap album ever made. I'll just say it's my favorite because I go back to it more.
But I think the difference between the two is that Company Flow album over time proved to be influential, right?
Depends on who you're talking to.
That is true. And if the audience don't know that, then
Exactly.
should we penalize them for their ignorance? Or are we educating them?
That's part of the discussion. That's why I think that's why I think those are completely different arguments. Like whenever we do a best of list for the year, it always gets complaints because people are like, "Oh, you're gonna say that so and so's album is better than so and so's album?"
Right.
No, I'm not gonna say that at all. But what I'm gonna say is that I return to this album way more than this. I watched your video with Fantano, which I guess kind of ruined the surprise, but I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna pick the same year. Because you did have some albums that I had never heard of in my life, like the Turkish one. I still can't. It was an interesting pick because I'd never heard of that group before, and I was almost mad at myself for the fact that I'd never heard of them, because the album is great, and it seems like one of those albums that I would have picked up just off the strength of the album cover.
It's really an incredible commitment to and the fact it's just so punk and like obnoxious all the way through, and they deliberately try to piss people off. I love that record. But yeah, I mean, in that list I did for Fantano, there's only probably about 3 hip hop albums. So like, but that was me doing underrated ones. It was me doing underrated albums for that one. So like, there's hip hop in general. I think like a lot of my favorite hip hop albums of the year did get acknowledged, did got a lot of credit. Although, like, yeah, I think my favourite hip-hop album of the year is Telephone by No Name. And it's probably definitely one of my favourite albums of all time.
All right, B?
B going first?
Yes.
My year is 1994.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, okay.
I think I got my year. I've been doing a little
research.
No year. I think I got it.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I say 1994 because I feel like sports reference here, Myke, I'm about to use. I know that Ken and Roddy. So I looked at like 88 as like the Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain years.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
then
Kyle's favorite year.
Yeah,
really?
I know. We talked.
That's a good year.
That's a good year. But I feel like 94 is like the Bird and Magic, like the resurgence, because we pretty much had like a great new era of MCs and producers, really. Because I feel like Pete Rock kind of got on, kind of picked up steam. DJ Premier picked up steam a lot in 94. You had the introduction to the Nas, Biggie. I feel like that was also a crucial year because I feel like pretty much all coast was shining. It was starting to shine because you had Midwest with Bone Thugs and Harmony, and Common with Resurrection. The South was starting to make some noise as far as being respectable MCs with The Diary.
Scarface,
UGK, Super Tight, Outkast debut album. So it was
playalistic.
So it was like 94 was that year where it was like, oh, okay, like this shit is like really, and like I said, every East Coast had their albums, the South had their albums, West Casual, and Fear Itself. Even though I didn't know about that until '97, but that came out. West Coast was starting to shine more, even not on the commercial level, but even on the underground level. Like, yeah, '94 was.
That's a good year, man.
'94 was a good pick. Man. Like '94 was like.
That's a good pick, B.
It ain't the best.
I don't know if it's the best yet. I don't know if it's the best yet, but that's a really good.
That's my argument for it being like.
Nah, it's a really good argument. It's one of my favorite year. It's a good one to bring to the table.
Like 92 through 94, 95, I was really getting into my own as far as a hip hop fan. You know what I'm saying? Because even though I started listening to hip hop in '88, that was like really my introduction year. But like, of course, I was still listening to other stuff, R&B, jazz. But like, for me, '94 is by far my favorite year.
So were you listening to all those albums at the time as well? Was it as it was happening? Were you?
Yes. I mean, that's what made it so special because it was just like knowing Nas was on Main Source, and then hearing the hype building up for Illmatic, had that coming out, bam. Seeing all the hype building up for Notorious B.I.G., Ready to Die, bam. J. Rue the Damager, Sun Rises in the East, like all that stuff was just so amazing for me, like to witness and just like, oh man, talking to my friends, oh you got this tape, oh you listen to this tape. Also too, '94 is special because that was the first year my parents brought me a CD player. So I was like, man, I've always had cassette. I always had a boombox, a cassette player. '94 was like my first year I had CDs. Personally, and it's just my favorite year in hip hop. It's just like that was the year where I was like, oh man, can't get no better than this.
I'm giving my year because I think Ken's gonna try to cheat and steal my year. He keeps looking over my shoulder.
That's funny. Nobody wants your year, man.
Shit, you will after I say these albums. So my favorite year, if you had to guess, what would you say?
'97.
I already said it was '97 because
yeah,
the company flow shit. No,
it wasn't.
Bro, 1993.
Okay.
Was easily
so right
to
before
me,
Bees.
Yeah, but that was easily to me like the most defining year where so much shit was changing and shifting. So '93, I had to make a list of how many fucking genre-defining albums came out. Souls of Mischief, obviously '93 till, because that album fucking changed my life. Then you also had Dell's No Need for Alarm. That came out. Enter the 36 Chambers
Yes.
was 93.
Hey, to cut you off, 93 has arguably the greatest hip hop day with 36 Chambers.
Oh, and all,
Midnight Marauders.
Midnight Marauders is the next one on my list.
They both dropped on the same day.
But think about this. KRS-One's solo debut came out that year, Return of the Boom Bap. That was
DJ
93.
Premier.
Yeah. Diggable Planets, Reaching. With that album, fucked everybody up. That was 93. Onyx. That was the introduction of Onyx with Back to Fuck Up. That was 93. Lords of the Underground. Here Come the Lords. 93. Bro. Freestyle Fellowships. Inner City Griots. 93.
That's when I was, that year I was.
I saved the best for last.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Gurus, Jazzmatazz, 93. That ain't the best though. Bro. Eazy-E.
Which one?
It's on Dr. Dre.
Yes.
Oh,
187 Killer.
Yes.
That was 93.
Yes.
And that was the one.
That was
Yeah.
93. That
Because
was
it was right after the whole Chronic shit happened,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where they were dissing Eazy and no one thought Eazy was gonna say anything back.
Right.
And he came back with that EP that we were like, whoa, wait a minute.
But, yeah.
This dude really can rap.
Yeah.
Because he didn't need Ice Cube.
Yep.
But the best album that year, easily, Shaquille O'Neal Shaq. That was 93. I'm saying 93 had a nuts year for how many rap albums that came out that were really like genre shifting, that were like, oh, this is what you think hip hop is, but yo, check this out. Like, we have this. Because that was during the time where I was like, I don't really care about rap music. But then Souls of Mischief is the one that was like, wait a minute, nah, man, there's some real dope shit going on. But there were so many albums that I bought from that year. That was
mentioned
like, wow.
Doggy Style by Snoop. Like,
But I remember I told you guys I wasn't
fucking with
that album.
that's
But it's still a part of your argument.
that
though.
year.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I only listed the albums that, and you're right, of course. But I only listed the albums that
I got you.
really made me say, "Fuck!" There's so much crazy shit going on in hip hop right
But you
now.
can't talk about that year and not talk about Doggy Style.
I can,
I mean, well,
because the reason is I didn't listen to it.
no, I understand that, but that's a very good point to your argument, though. If you if you could use that point.
No, I know. I'm just saying
like,
that the only reason I didn't list it is not because it's not a good album. Of course, it's an amazing album.
Right. It just didn't.
I didn't listen to it that year. That's the only reason I didn't list it.
Yeah, but I don't
wasn't
think it
listening to
matters
it.
if you listen to it that year. Just kind of like looking back and seeing what impact, and we talked about that earlier, right? What how did it impact over time, and how did it age over time? But now you understand that Doggy Style was a big record.
Yeah.
Back then, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, 93. Yeah,
93 was crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
93
bro.
was a good.
90. It was like
93
it's
was
weird
a good
because
one.
of 93 to 94 was that perfect sweet spot.
my God,
where it
it
was like
was.
hip hop is really crazy right now.
Yes.
Now what you got with your raggedy ass list?
I actually looked at 1996.
That's my pick too.
Yeah.
That's my pick too.
I don't remember 96 that well.
Woo, you
about
about
to.
to. You about to.
The score.
Wait, what was the first one you said?
Reasonable Doubt.
Oh.
Jay-Z.
Yeah, you already know.
So kind of to go back to what B was saying with the sports analogy, I think this is the year that hip hop took the ball and ran with it.
Yes.
And this is when hip hop really started to become like mainstream, and it really started to break out. And you already had established artists, and then you had artists you didn't even know were coming. So we already know the score was dropped that year. Did we really know what Lauryn Hill was gonna do afterwards? We already know about Tupac, All Eyes on Me, and Death Row.
And then not only all eyes on me, he dropped 7 Day Theory too that same year.
Yep, which was everywhere.
Man.
One of B's favorite albums, Ill Death Half-Life, dropped that year. Muddy Waters.
Yes.
Iron Man, of course, dropped that year. It felt like anything you wanted that year, you could get it, and it would be of quality.
Right.
Too Short dropped, I think that was his first retirement album, getting that album number 10.
Got UGK's Riding Dirty.
Yep, UGK Riding Dirty, which
I played the hell out of that album.
I did too, because I love Riding Tight. But no, it's
Super Tight.
Super Tight.
Yeah.
But after Pockets Full of Stones, after Too Hard to Swallow, and it sounded so different, I was like, man, do they still, like, I don't know if I'm rocking with this. I came to love it over time, but Riding Dirty kind of got back to like what I wanted from them. Hardcore, the album cover with Lil' Kim. Nobody has seen shit like that. And man, come on, man. Ice Cream Man. Goddamn Master P.
Got Outkast, ATL.
No, we ain't got we
ain't
forget.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, get off our year, man. Stay on your what you say, 94?
94,
Stay there, man. Don't
Again.
worry about what's going on here.
No, but nobody knew that with Ice Cream Man, what was coming.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that No Limit shit was coming after that.
No.
And then there was also a time where, unlike today, I think people can't do this, but you can listen to rappers without necessarily having the production behind it. Razzcast Soul on Ice
That
was
is true.
one.
And the production ain't great on that album.
It is not
You're right.
great. It
That's
is
a good
not
point.
great on that album. So you can, but that's when like our focus was really on the artist and what they were saying. And if you got good production, great. But it really was the MC first and foremost. We didn't know Sean P was coming. Helter Skelter Nocturnal dropped that year.
Had Busta Rhymes coming.
The Coming,
Yeah,
Woo-Ha Got You
Woo-Ha.
All in Check, which was everywhere. Infinite dropped that year.
Bruh.
We didn't know he was coming. Eminem.
See, what's great about your list is about 98% of the people that you've listed so far, I didn't listen to that year.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting about your list.
crazy.
I wasn't listening to any of this
Yeah.
shit.
Hey, Rob, you remember Tila?
Yeah, I remember
Peace of
Taylor.
mind.
Man, I got mad over somebody with that because I couldn't buy it. Well, could I buy it at that time? I could, but somebody wouldn't let me hold it. And I got mad on them. They wouldn't let me hold that record.
I don't know
Tila.
Tila, Suave House.
Yeah, it was Suave
ran
House.
with 8Ball and MJG.
And then
Yeah.
Nas dropped It Was Written, and if some people like that over Illmatic.
True.
And
So
Do
it's
It-
like, yeah.
Do or Die picture this, and they took.
Woo, Do or Die was crazy. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And they took Lord of the Under. Was it Lord?
That's
They
Twisted.
took Bone Thugs and Harmony style that rapping rapping fast as shit.
You know
They
Do or
took
Die?
that shit.
Say again?
You know who Do or Die is? Twister and them. That's how Twister came. That's what did he start with them? And then he really sold
No,
out.
he was himself, but Do or Die was just, they were all from Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were from
yeah,
Chicago.
yeah.
I liked Twista, but I didn't listen
But
to
Do or
it.
Die was man.
But it was like
I
a.
still don't know what that is.
Crazy.
I love
You
it.
got De La Soul too.
Oh yeah, Stasis Out, De La Soul, Stasis Out.
Oh shit. Wait, what album was 90? What album was that one?
96.
No,
No,
what
Stasis
album?
Out.
Yeah,
They lost on States
Balloon
Out.
Mind State was 93 though. And to me, Balloon Mind State is better.
And then of course Mobb Deep, Hell on Earth out. You know, for somebody in the comment section. You know, forget. So yeah, that dropped that
shit,
year.
I think that's so underrated. I mean, people are they look at the Infamous so much.
Yeah.
Hell Nervous. Hell Nervous fucking amazing too.
It's interesting that, like, you know, there's like, I thought we would all have just different years, but like, you know, two of you are 96, and then you guys are like 93 to 94. Like, maybe it's not as subjective as I thought. Maybe like years are better. Or do you think it's because, like, you know, you guys are friends and like, you know, you talk about a lot of the same years together, or like?
I think
Nah,
it's
we
we're
didn't
old.
even know each other.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, but yeah, I don't think we ever really talk about
We've never
it like that, like the way we're doing today.
That's why this was such a great idea because we've never really had this discussion.
Which is
Never.
crazy.
As long as
I know
we've
that's
done
what
it- as
that's
long
what
as
was so
we've been doing
genius
this.
about it. When you brought it up, I paused. And I was like, we've been doing this for fucking 8 years, and we've never fucking had a discussion about what the best year in rap is.
Yeah.
Never.
There's a lot of conversations we haven't had, I guess.
But
You-
that's
you would
such a
assume-
that's the one that you would assume
Yeah,
we
you
would
would
have had by
assume we
now.
have it, but we just haven't. But Chopper City came out too. BG.
BG?
Yeah, that was his first joint. Chopper City was probably his best album ever.
What's funny about this conversation also is 96, 97 is when I once again stopped listening to rap. Wasn't that when like Cash Money was starting to get really popular?
The bling
Not
bling, the shiny
yet.
suits.
97, 98?
Not yet. Master P was still a thing.
So Master P I hated.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't stand any of that shit. And that make him say sorry.
Oh,
Well, that was
That-
later, Master P.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was later on.
Yeah,
96.
That's what I said. 96, 97.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
that wasn't 96, that was probably 98. Was that
Yeah,
Ghetto?
that was later. That was
Ghetto
Ghetto
was 97.
I didn't come back to hip hop until I discovered like Def Jux and Anacon, all that weird shit. And that wasn't until 2000.
Yeah, 2001, 2000.
So it's funny that you say that your favorite year was 96 because that was the year where I was giving up on rap.
But didn't Company Phone drop Fun Crush?
I didn't listen to Company Flow until after I discovered Def Jux.
Oh, okay. But
And
that
that
was
was-
96 though.
97.
I thought that was 90. Fun Crusher was 96.
Funk Crusher Plus was 97.
Oh, Fun Crusher Plus.
Yeah.
Funk Crusher, the EP.
Yeah, it came out in 96.
No one was really buzzing like that. It was when Funk Crusher Plus came out.
What's the difference between the two?
That there were more songs, basically.
Well, Fun Crusher came out in 96.
Yeah, but nobody really listened to it.
Right, but that's going back to like, I get what you're saying.
It wasn't. Okay, so Funk Crusher, the EP, didn't really make that kind of noise outside of Brooklyn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when Funk Crusher Plus came out, that was the album that fed everywhere. And that was the album where people were like, what is this production style? How the fuck are they rapping like this? Wait, half the shit this motherfucker says doesn't even rhyme, but it's still incredible. Who is this Big Just guy? Who's this white dude? Like, that was the album that really made that noise, but I didn't hear that until I had already heard Fantastic Damage.
Got you.
And that was in like 2002.
I'm like that with Reasonable Doubt. I didn't listen to it in 96. I listened to it maybe more 98 maybe, right before I got out of high school.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't listen to it till like a year or two later.
I thought you were going to say 97.
I may have towards the tail end of 97 possibly, but I know it was about 98.
See, 98 is about when I heard Funk Crusher Plus.
Got you.
But I didn't go back to it until way later. I heard the album and I was like, damn, this is fucking dope. But I didn't really discover the genius of it until after I heard the Def Jux shit. Def Jux is what brought me back to rap. And then I was like, oh, wait, that white guy that's rapping all weird, that's the same guy from Company Flow. And then when I went back, I was like, okay, this album is fucking amazing.
And remember, what was one of the things I said about this year? It was motherfuckers out that we didn't even know were coming.
Right.
And Company Flow dropped that album that year. Nobody knew about it or what was going to happen until years later.
Yeah.
But they made their introduction in that year.
Yeah.
So it was like the onset of what was to become.
That Silk the Shocker album that you was digging a little bit that I was playing.
Bit. I love it now.
Yeah, the Shocker.
Yeah.
That came out in 96.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That came out in 96. 96 is a big,
But at the time, if I heard that, I would have been like, get the fuck out of here. I don't wanna hear this shit.
So do you think that it's important to have like a best year for hip hop for you personally, or what, that you were engaged with it at the time? That it's not like in retrospect you look back and go, oh, actually I like all these now. At the time I wasn't really doing it. Now I like it. Do you think it's important that at the time you were engaged with it all and enjoyed the releases as they came out?
I don't think so.
That's a good question.
I don't think
That is
so.
a good question.
Yeah, that's.
Do I think it's important? I don't think so. I don't think it's important.
I think it's important.
I do.
Yeah.
Why? Because even though I didn't like Reasonable. I wasn't up on Reasonable Doubt around that time. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. It probably is my favorite album of all time.
I mean, I wasn't listening to Miles Davis Kind of Blue.
Right.
Old jokes. I know y'all.
Oh no, you good.
If you would have said "Hear My Dear," it would have been a joke.
But I wasn't listening to Miles Davis Kind of Blue. It's one of my favorite albums.
Right.
You know, when it came out.
That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter. Was you on it then? It don't really matter. You're on it now.
It don't matter.
But I still think it's an important discussion. It's kind of an interesting discussion to discuss the albums that you were on as they were coming out. Like these albums that I listed, the majority of them, I was jamming when they came out. But there are albums that, if I put together a list of my top 10 favorite rap albums, I think the majority of the ones that are on that list are not ones that I listened to when they came out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I get you.
I think it's an important conversation, but it's not a definitive conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
I wasn't born at that time, but I imagine if I was.
Right.
And how would I have felt listening to those albums at that time? It would have been amazing. So to be able to be in that moment in time, in 96, 93, 94, 2016, it just adds so much more to it. Because I can speak to it and it resonates with me in a different way.
Yeah, no, for sure.
What do you guys think Feefo's year would be? He's not here today, but like, if you were to guess, would you have any idea?
I don't.
I don't think it would have been in the 90s. I think it would have been more in the 2000s.
Absolutely.
I think because we're all closer to the same age here today, that's why a lot of our stuff is in the 90s. But I think Feefo's, because of that fact though, I think Feefo's would be somewhere in the 2000s. Something like 2002, 2003, something like that. Is what
I think it would be later.
You think it'd be later than that?
Absolutely.
2009. Wait, 2010. I think is a important year in hip hop because I think that's when we saw a new wave of artists come in, and we saw also technology come with it later on.
When was Drake's mixtape? When was So Far Gone?
That was like 2010.
I bet you that would probably, not because he likes Drake so much,
Yeah.
but I think he would probably say that year because that was a really important year for rap. Like
Yep.
that was when everything was shifting to
It was.
everything being digital.
It
Yep.
absolutely
And
was,
that's
yeah.
his shit.
Yeah.
So I bet you he would have said
He would
2010.
have said it's 2000 somewhere.
He would have said 2010, guaranteed, because that was like
Yeah.
Drake, Mickey Fax,
Yep.
who else was that year? Cuddy.
All right.
Rock
Yeah,
My-
Cuddy, Man on the Moon, I think.
Wasn't that
year.
2010?
You know what's funny, Ken? Because we just did a like not a seminar, but like a lecture at a school, and we broke down the different eras, and we had the golden era, the 2010s, and all that. And he probably would fall in that 2010s.
Yeah.
But and that was the last one we did, right? We
Yeah.
did the 2010s,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, he probably would fall in that. In later.
Because that was an important year for
Yeah,
people that were
yeah,
his age.
yeah. No, think about it. Yeah, so it probably wouldn't be early 2000 actually, because Feefo didn't come onto hip hop until later.
I kind of wish he was here now because
Yeah,
I really
I
want to
wanna
know.
know.
I'm going to ask him
Yeah.
outside of this what he would have said.
I'm glad we finally did this because we never
Yeah.
did that
Yeah.
before.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I mean, my list of my years is purely, based on personal stuff and emotional stuff, and it's just been, as always with your channel, just hearing people with actual knowledge talk about hip hop is a pleasure. So glad to commission my own dead end hip hop video. Just listen to you guys. Great, thanks guys.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what makes the topic of your book so interesting to me, because seeing as how you had this emotional episode and it's 2016 music that kind of corrected that emotional episode, when I think about it, it's like that's been my life. Like every emotional episode that I've had throughout my years on this earth, it's been music that has corrected it and that's shifted it, and that has kind of been what I look to. Like anytime I've had a major negative emotional moment in my life, I've always turned to music as therapy. So I can't wait to read your book, because I can't wait to see if the issues that you were having were specifically corrected by issues that these artists were talking about. I specifically really appreciate the fact that you found a lot of positivity through what we're doing. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you a lot for acknowledging us, and I really can't wait to dig into this book, and I'm really excited to have our story as a part of yours. So thank you a lot, man, for doing this with us. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you guys, and thanks for agreeing to be a part of the book as well. It means a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man.
That's dope.
Appreciate having you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
real dope.